Yeah, thanks for asking that. The thing with it's so easy for me to see it in hindsight, but I was so scared. I was so incredibly scared to actually go through the process myself. And I was so afraid of breaking tradition, which really is so absolutely silly because whose tradition is it? Is it our tradition? So that would make more sense to be afraid of breaking our own tradition, but because it's another tribal tradition, we feel like we have to become part of that tribe and be like them in order to not be cursed by it. There's almost a superstitious part of most people that are keeping them from actually seeing what it really is, and that these plant medicines are all over the place. The same alkaloids are in so many different plants, and they're used differently too. They're mixed differently. I mean, some tribes will use them. They'll add the trumpet flower, or they'll add, mescaline, adding that naturally, because peyote has all three alkaloids. So it's got the MAO inhibitor plus the mescaline plus the dimethyltryptamine. And so you're getting all three of those in peyote. And if you look to earth as if it's a reflection of us and it's giving us what we need, and these medicines that are also considered poisons at times because they can be so toxic if they're used too much. Sugar could be toxic if you get too much sugar, and it causes diabetes, right? But when you look at kind of a poisonous, venomous plant, and you think like, oh my gosh, what's this gonna do to me? But on a really, really, if you were experimenting and microdosing with that first, you would realize that it's actually quite friendly to your body, and that it's actually something that would just help you if you took small amounts of ayahuasca, just the MAO inhibitor. That's in our society, that is an antidepressant. And now they are not using it anymore. They found other replacement ones because it is so reactive to anything that's fermented. And so staying away from that, using that on a regular basis, you wouldn't need the fermented. So if you think about the fermentation process and what that's giving us it's giving us, when you drink a beer, what does it do? It calms you down, chills you out. When you take fermented anything, soy sauces, kombucha, whatever, it's something that's broken down and the enzymes have changed and it reacts in your body differently. So when you take ayahuasca and you're afraid of like, oh, if I eat 6 tons of cheese in the next 3 days and then do ayahuasca, I'm going to have this reaction, which is true. You'd have to eat a lot of that cheese. So it's really where it causes the most issues are because it was used as an antidepressant in our society, a synthetic version. And when that was given to people, it was prescribed to take for months. So it's not really dealing with any of the emotional issues. You're actually just covering up and putting a bright spot on your otherwise dark day. And that's the trouble with antidepressants. But when it's used in conjunction with the dimethyltryptamine to put context into it so you can see and you get visuals and you access that spirit realm, then you're getting that information to work through and cause those sensations in your body, that heightened, like, oh my God, you're gonna vomit because your amount of disgust that's been stored in you on rejection of certain topics of yourself are gonna come up and come out, or you're gonna purge it going downwards and have a great big toilet fest. And those so using a large amount of something that would otherwise be kind of harmless in itself, or less, at least just, I often just give people, here is one capsule of the MAO inhibitor, and it's 1 gram. Your usual dose would be, say, 4 or 5 grams. And if you just take that and let your body get used to it, that's going to help you get more comfortable for the solo journey, because you're not going to just be like shocked with this new kind of experience. And maybe take it during the day and see how you feel, and then maybe a couple days later take one maybe more at the end of the day, and see how your dreams change, or if you can recall more dreams. And you could do the same thing with the dimethyltryptamine. You could take the a small amount of that, and a lot of people smoke it. I don't recommend smoking it, because there's no context to it. So what we're really, really trying to get to is a childlike state, so we can purge. And I've been around people at art and music festivals that just smoke it and smoke it and smoke it, and they're kind of obsessed with like what's going on in there, what's going on with the spirit realm that I'm accessing, and they want to know more, but they don't get very much because it's so short. It's like boom and it's gone, and they don't really have any context to go with it. Like, I threw up and I felt this way and I had this reaction. You need the MAO inhibitor to get that other part of it, to have your body go, wow, this is how I'm supposed to feel, but in me is this other like rejected part of me. Like, I've rejected, like, I love having this addiction to, French fries, and I eat them every day at work or whatever. But there's a second part of you that's rejecting and feeling ashamed for that. And when you take the MAO inhibitor with the dimethyltryptamine, it'll give you the visuals that will show you, oh my God, there's like beings supporting, they're huge, grotesque, fat, loving beings, and they're just pushing this like condiments down into my mouth with these French fries. And I see this girl experiencing that, and then I realize I am this girl experiencing this. And then you vomit, and you purge that whole experience of how that kinky part of the universe is giving you all that you asked for. Here are your French fries. Don't you love it? And until you really feel that experience of loving, you can't even purge that rejection that's also going on inside of you. And so, when you smoke DMT, you're not really getting that full experience. You're not getting, you just come out of it kind of going, what the fuck was that? So, yeah, there's so much about, the plant medicine and how it's all over in the world. So you've got, you go to a different country and start digging up what species there are there, and you're going to find the same alkaloids, and you're going to find them in different ways. Like, so in Peru, the vine of the dead, literally it's the MAO inhibitor, and that puts you in a childlike safe space. And that vine is like literally crawling up a tree. Well, when you study the Kabbalah, and now, I'm going to break here, and I'll talk about this on the next one, because I want to keep these captions so people can kind of get some elements of what I'm speaking of.